Hey guys and girls in YouTube world, welcome to the adventures of building a headless Telecaster part 4. So here's what I got figured out so far. Alright, so the bridge is installed. That's where the bridge has to go according to scale length. So here's what I've learned. So on a headless guitar, well, on any guitar that has a 0 fret, so scale length is measured from the 0 fret and not the nut. So I was measuring from the nut and it was giving me a certain distance down here, but and then I talked to a guitar luthier and did some research online, and you have to measure from the 0 fret. So essentially, scale length, to put it lightly, there's a lot more science behind it than this, but scale length is the distance that the string is unsupported. Okay, so there's something touching the string here, like the string is supported by the fret here, and it's supported by the saddle in here, which, well, clearly it's removed right now. So the space between the string, like that's basically unsupported, the floating string is your scale length. So for this particular neck that came off the Earth guitar and this Telecaster body, both were 25.5-inch scale length. So I measured from here to the saddle. So what you got to do is, or what I was told to do, so this saddle just goes in like this. It has this little hole right here is simply the adjustment screw that mounts into the little space there that you can see right there in the saddle. So the saddle can slide back and forth in that adjustment screw. So what you do is you set the saddle halfway between, and then lock it down. So I don't know if you can see that, it's a little bit dark, but basically the slide cutout inside the bottom of the saddle that I just showed you there, this little slide cutout right here next to my middle finger, is centered to the hole of the mounting screw, which allows it to go forward and back. Okay, so I can move it forward and back. So at the center point, I measured 25.5-inch to the string support, like on the saddle. Okay, and then on your E string, you need to make sure that the E string can go back from there 9/64 of an inch, which is like very little. So, so there was no problem, because with these bridges, you'll see that, you see these holes here, how they're already compensated. So every saddle on this Earth guitar, it's kind of a cool design, I gotta say. So that's the cam, by the way, that goes up and down, right? With so you can see how it works from the side here. So there's a screw that just pushes on the edge of the cam and it'll rotate it up. And if you back the screw, the cam will rotate up this way. And if you back off the screw, it'll rotate down this way, which turns this peg up and down to adjust your string height. So that's how you adjust your string height. So basically, each saddle has the same, the same channel that's routed in the saddle to go back and forth. So it can only go back and forth the same amount of distance. However, whoever designed this bridge, they've designed it so that the locking screws for the saddle, like once you set your intonation, you lock the screws, they are already compensated. So you'll see how the E string is further up, the B string is slightly back, the G string is further back, and then it comes up again, right? With the D and the A, and the E is way back here. So as soon as you set your scale length for your E string on these bridges, with your saddle being in the center position of the channel, so it can move back and forth, you're set. Like that, that's pretty much it. So anyway, that's where the bridge is going to end up. And I know if you guys haven't watched my other videos, you guys are like, holy smokes, that bridge is over the route for the pickup. And that's what I was saying in my other video in part 3. It's when I measure the scale length, it looks like it's not gonna line up. But you can't just change the scale length. So this is where the bridge has to go, and now I got to make this fit. So in my previous video, I had marked out a place to route this out, but it's going to be a lot less. So I think all I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this off like right here, and I'm going to, you know, just make kind of a square pattern so I can fit kind of a humbucker. And then I'm going to use, well, I'm not going to put a humbucker in there, but so a humbucker could fit. And I'm going to use this old bridge plate that I have. I'm going to cut it just above the mounting screws. So it'll just be a square bridge plate. I'm going to drill holes in all the four corners, and it'll go, that's what my pickup will mount in, and I will mount that over here, like so. Now I have it upside down, obviously, because I just want to, you know, I just want you to get an idea. So it's pretty close as it is right now. You see there's a little bit of wood there. So the pickup would be slanted in this direction. So this would kind of butt up against my bridge plate, and so it'll look like it's an elongation of this bridge plate, sort of. I'm going to fix these corners, obviously, because they're rounded. And then, yeah, it'll just, I think it'll work out. So by taking this route and just routing it a little further up, I'm going to take this corner out, just square it out, and maybe take like 1/4 of an inch up top here. And then I think what I'll do is I'll just take, I have a small piece of shim, and like, cause there's about a 3/8 of an inch overlap underneath here. So I think I'll just take this little shim that I made, and I'll put that in here, and I'll just glue it. And that way, that'll give me a nice flat edge. And then I'll just measure from there up, and then it'll be a squared pickup. And then once I put my pickup ring in place, I can mount my pickup in there, and it'll be no problem. And I'll still have access to the hole to run the wire in the cavity here. So it should be fine. And that'll be easy to run a ground wire also to ground the bridge. So that's kind of where I am right now, guys and girls. So I'm gonna keep trucking away here, and I'll keep adding to this video before I post it, so that it won't be so many like part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the next step is just to remove this bridge, and glue this little thing in, fill the back side where the gap will be with epoxy just to make it solid, and then reroute that bridge, and then I'll assemble the guitar just to make sure everything works. But right now I ran like a string, and everything lines up perfectly. So everything's pretty good. All right, so forgive me because I'm doing this one-handed here, but so I have a string here. I'm just gonna hook it in the top of the headpiece, and I'm going to run it all the way down and just sit it. It's hard to do with one hand. Let me just do that again. Lock that in there. I'm just going to sit it inside the cam here where you would normally. So there we go. So that puts the string right about there. And obviously, you know, it won't be that far in because this is only a G string I'm using, and normally we'd be, you know, an E string is much bigger, so it'll be pretty good. And then on the other side, I have pretty much the exact same distance. So I'm just going to run that up here, run it down here inside the cam, and I have this on that side. So yeah, so that's good too. It's about balanced, and if I take a measurement from here to the edge of the bridge, I have exactly the same distance over here as I do over here. Sorry for the shoddy camera work. So everything is squared, and the strings seem to be lined up good, and the bridge mounted perfectly. I didn't have any discrepancies with the drilling, and so yeah, so that's going well. So I'm just going to have to reposition this cavity, and then and possibly re-drill, and not re-drill, but possibly fix my little pick guard here, because once this is all in place, and I add this bridge plate, it'll probably go into my pickguard, and that's fine. That's fine, because I'll just I'll cut it around the edge, and it'll even look more so like a Telecaster pickguard, because a Telecaster pickguard is usually cut to fit the bridge plate anyway. So I mean, it won't be much. It'll just be, well, let me have a look here. So if I line that up here, and let's say the pickup goes where this bridge is right now, see, I'd be looking at probably cutting it right about here, right across the top. So yeah, so it won't be like a big gash in the pickguard. And I think if you can imagine what that would look like, I think it'll look pretty cool. I mean, it's not going to be super pretty. Of course, it's like I'm building something that doesn't exist, so I don't really have parts for it. And it's not like I have a machine shop or anything. But that's kind of the plan. That's kind of how it's going to go. And again, like I mentioned in another video, I might just get a pickup ring, like a humbucker pickup ring conversion, like for a Tele, kind of like this. But this is for a neck pickup, so I couldn't use this one, and just put that, you know, it would be a slanted one, and I could use that. But this, I just thought that these are plastic, the ones that you buy. And I haven't seen them made of metal. I'm sure they exist, but so I just thought that maybe if I use this bridge, which is a nice, you know, Goto bridge, nice and solid, and it's metal, it would give me more of that Telecaster twang, because the pickup is surrounded by, you know, steel as opposed to plastic. So that's where I am, guys. I don't know, just one step at a time, try to use a little bit of common sense, but luthier I am not, but this is fun. This is fun. I think this will be a cool little guitar once it's all put together. Anyway, I'll be in touch. I'll keep you posted. I'm going to pause this for now, and I'll come back later. Okay, so bridge is removed, and this is what I was talking about. So the front of the bridge plate goes up to here. So I installed this little shim, this little piece of shim. It's about, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch thick, maybe a bit more. And so you can see all this space is empty and unneeded. So I'm going to fill this with epoxy right to the top so that there's a solid, so it becomes like a solid piece, you know, attached to the wood. And then that metal, you know, pickup ring that I was talking about, it'll be screwed in up here and up here. But down here is fine because the cavity is rounded. So this ring is going to be square. So I can put a little screw in this back corner to anchor it. But here it was rounded, or it was squared, sorry. So I added a corner piece in here, and I might have to trim this once it dries, but you can see I loaded it with wood glue there, so it's just drying now. So basically, once that's all dried, and there's epoxy in there, I'll route this out, and that'll be, so my pickup will actually be up here, and then I can, you know, make everything fit with my pickguard. So that's yeah, that's what I was trying to explain there in the previous section when the bridge was on. All right, well, on to the next thing. Hey guys, so once again, welcome to the shed. While that epoxy is, I just put epoxy in that cavity, and while that's hardening, I thought I'd show you another little trick here. So I'm just working on this pickguard. So I just made the holes where they need to be, and because this was a Telecaster pickguard, there was a hole here and a hole here that I no longer need. Now this pickguard, I'm just going to have it wrapped in carbon fiber. I'm going to go for that carbon fiber look. So so yeah, there's markings on it and it's scratched all over the place, but it'll look good once it's wrapped. So one thing, if you guys ever want to like modify a pickguard and you want to plug some holes, all you have to do is, well, this worked for me anyway. I don't know if it's a real technique, but so I just plugged the two holes, the backs of the two holes that I wanted to use, and I used, or I didn't want to use, I guess, and I used the old baking soda and super glue trick. So here's my, here it's called Crazy Glue. So I got the Crazy Glue, and I had a little bit of baking soda. And so you pour a little bit of baking soda in the hole, fill it with crazy glue, and then add a little bit more baking soda. And I just did that, and now look, that's it's like that hole was never there. So now it's totally sandable. So so yeah. So now when I put my carbon fiber wrap on it, you won't see the divots from these holes that used to be there. And then once I put my screws in place, it'll look like just one nice smooth pickguard. So that should be neat. So yeah. Anyway, once the epoxy is dry, I'll show you what that cavity looks like. I may route it out before I come back, but anyway. All right, I'll be back. All right, so we're back to the body. I just finished doing a light sanding, and I did get it routed out. A friend of mine did that for me with a CNC machine, actually, because it was kind of hard to freehand, and I didn't want to mess it up like I did on this one. So yeah, so there's what the body looks like. So now this cavity is like, you know, this is the cavity. So this is all epoxied in there. This little piece of wood, or the shim, is like one. And I rounded out this corner. I had to put a little shim in there. I might need to add one here too, because I want to have some surface area to mount like a pickup ring, which I think is going to be this. So this is a bridge plate, which I will cut just above these holes here, and that'll go right in there. And you know, it'll I think I'll just be able to see, if I look at the holes that I drilled in the top, I'll just be able to get those holes in the wood. So I'll mount them there. I'll drill new holes at the bottom, and the actual bridge, you know, once I cut this off, the actual bridge will go roughly here somewhere. So it'll kind of look like that from far. And then the pickguard, I'll have to cut a recessed edge here. So the pickguard will be like this, I believe, once the neck is in place, because the neck is going over here a little bit. So the pickguard will be roughly there. So I'll have to cut, you know, this out of the pickguard, and I have a clear template that I had done like this. So I'll be able to kind of mark that on the clear template and then just transfer it over once that's all lined up. So basically, it's coming. It's just a lot of measuring and a lot of stuff to kind of be aware of, I guess. I'm learning as I go, because I've never really done this. So that's the body. Just before the final sanding, I guess I'll have to sand it down to 600 grit. I've decided to go with a solid color for this one. Just because, you know, on my IYV, that's wood color. This is wood grain finished. It's a little darker color, but you can see the wood grain, kind of the quilted, you know, or tiger stripe finish there on that one. And my main guitar, which is my Wolfcaster, so this is also like a wood finish guitar. So I figure, why have another one? And so that guitar is what inspired this body shape. So if you look at them, you'll see how, right, I kind of contoured the edge here. I've taken a little bit more off the top, you know, but I couldn't get this horn over here because the Telecaster doesn't have enough wood up there, and I started with the Telecaster body, but I did take away quite a bit of route down here, kind of to match that one. And yeah, so that was what inspired it. So this one's also wood color, so I figure I don't want to have another wood grain guitar, so this one's going kind of a burnt copper color. So it's going to kind of look like I think it's called burnt orange, metallic burnt orange. So it'll kind of look like a really orangey gold, copperish. So it should be kind of cool. So basically, here's what I did with the body. I did add some forearm contours and a belly cut. So if you look from the top here, you can see there's a nice contour. Not a huge one, but it's a good fair size contour. You'll feel it, and then a nice kind of progressive kind of belly contour. And then I also, you know, went a little deeper here in the pocket than on my Wolfcaster over there, and just a little bit deeper. And then I angled the heel here. I sanded that off, filled some holes, and rounded rounded the heel. Had to move, obviously, the screw hole that was up here, had to plug it, had to move it down there. And so yeah, it should, it should be okay. Once it's all done, it should look decent, I think. I don't know. We'll see. It's a prototype, right? So anyway, so now I'm going to try and fit all these parts up here on the body, just as a rough fit, and put the neck on and see kind of what it looks like, and then just take it all apart, prep it for paint. So I'll be back when that's done. I'll show you guys an approximation of what it's going to look like. Hey guys, all right, I'm back. So just spent the last couple hours in the shed outside, cutting, drilling, measuring, swearing, all the ing words. So, but I got the guitar assembled. No, I mean not ready to play it. Nothing's wired up or whatever. But so I'm going to show you what the prototype looks like anyway. So then it's got to be off. Got to get it painted. Got to get the pickguard wrapped and all that other stuff. But anyway, here it is. Ta-da! All right, so this is what we have so far. Very simple. Let me go around here so you guys can have a look. So basically, everything kind of came together okay, but there's just a few things that kind of threw me off. So I did end up using, here's the bottom half. So this Tele bridge plate, I did end up using it as a pickup ring. And so I just I cut it off with a grinder or whatever. And these are brass plates, it looks like. Look, it's like gold inside. That's like a solid brass plate. So anyway, I guess it'll sound all right. Teles and brass usually go pretty good. As you can see, I just ran I had two little strings here. So I ran two strings. Everything seems good as far as the spacing here on this side versus the spacing on this side. This pickup seems to line up just right. This one though, like it lines up pretty good on, this magnet. This magnet's a little off. It would kind of have to be over here. But I think it's just the nature of the beast. Like, this bridge was with humbuckers, right? So I don't know. And plus this string is I think it's a B string or a G string. So it's not as big. So hopefully with the bigger string, it'll sit, further in the saddle when I wind it, and it'll kind of maybe bring it a little more center, but I'm not too concerned about that. And obviously the bridge plate, lined up. I have the jack plate lined up good. It was all fine. It was just a lot of, measuring and cutting, and the thing is, if you look down here, it kind of looks like, I offset my plate, or my bridge is crooked, but it's because these bridges, see, if I line it up here, you'll see that these tuning pegs are kind of off to the right, because the actual spool that the string feeds in is to the left of the peg, right? So like this peg here, like the spool is over here. So you can't kind of line up the tuners with the guitar. You have to line up the spools with the guitar. So it moves the bridge over. And because of this, you'll see that the bridge plate itself is thicker over here. Like it's got this wide wall over here, as opposed to over here where it's really thin, right? So yeah, so it kind of gives it a look of kind of being offset, but I think it'll be all right. So what I'm planning on doing is I want to get this pickguard, this bridge plate, and this control plate. I'm going to get it wrapped in carbon fiber. So it'll really be like a carbon fiber look, and then it'll just be a black bridge. So it might hide the fact, because carbon fiber, like I have it here on this guitar, and carbon fiber, has a lot of wavy patterns in it. So it might kind of take away from this looking like it's offset, but I couldn't really do it any other way, because this pickup had to be centered to the strings and to the neck, right? So, but anyway, that's kind of what it looks like. It's got I just got one screw in the back there to hold the neck. So basically that's where we're at, people. So now, like I said, I got to get those wrapped and then get the guitar painted. And so basically the next video will be, reassembling and setting everything up and a sound check and see what we got, see what the playability is like. All right, so here's what the guitar is going to look like when you're actually holding it, in play position. And I got to say, with these forearm contours, it feels pretty good. And if I'm just, sitting there kind of not looking, the palm of my hand is right where the saddles are going to be. So it feels like the ergonomics it's going to work. Like, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. I was kind of worried that maybe the neck, because it's a 24 fret neck, might be off. Like, it might feel like the neck is longer because it's a Telecaster body, right? I don't know. I guess it should be okay, but I'll only really know when I can, string this up and actually play it, and then we'll see how that works. But the ergonomics feel pretty good. Sorry about the bright orange shirt. It's National Reconciliation Day in Canada, and every child matters. So kind of sporting orange for the occasion there today. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. Here's the Headless Telecaster. Part, I don't know where I think I'm at part 4 or 5 now. Anyway, it wasn't a hard project, but it's taken a long time to kind of think out the process and what to do next and how it's going to come together. And anyway, but it's really fun. I gotta say, and I'm looking forward to having it done and to be able to play it. And it may not be like a gig-worthy guitar, like I don't know what it'll be like, but it'll be fun to have, in your collection, and it's something that I built myself, right? So I think it'll be cool. So anyway, but that's where we're at. Here it is, and one final look before I take it all apart and get it ready for paint. So, Telecaster body, we have the contours in the back. Yeah, sorry I didn't put the 4 screws in there because I knew it was going to come apart. And the contours. So yeah, I still got, a little bit of sanding left to do, but I just wanted to drill everything, make sure everything was in place. Yeah, and if you look at the plate there, I got 2 black screws at the top, 2 chrome ones at the bottom. I didn't have 4 matching screws. I'm just using parts from my junk drawer. So have to kind of work on that, but that's it, just minor stuff. So anyway, guys, thanks for the comments and following me on this quest, and the quest for a Headless Telecaster. And let me know what you think, or if you see anything that maybe I should tweak, or anything that doesn't look right. And other than that, next video will be body will be painted, and it'll be, like I said, reassembly and rock and roll. So peace out, guys. Take care. God bless. Have a good one.